Okay, so let's call it War Games. There's really no Survivor Series matches. We'll go through this in kind of like order of importance. So Shinsuke became new US champion. He came back a few weeks ago, new hot entrance, beat LA Knight. So need to see where Knight goes from here. I don't watch that much on SmackDown. Normally I catch like the highlights and stuff. So I knew he came back. So decent match. Really liked the Gunther Damian Priest rematch. Nice, hard hitting. The two guys work really well together. I like the story they were telling going into it. I like how they did what looked like a botch, because even the crowd was like, you messed up, which led to Finn Balor attacking Damian Priest. So when Gunther got the win, he was like, I wanted to win by myself. Nice long-term story. I like that. It was good. Ludwig Kaiser, Braun Breaker, and Sheamus. I want these guys to fight more often. That was brutal. Oh, they beat the daylights. Great use of the triple threat bit. Using the shillelagh. They're just... Braun Breaker's incredible. Hopefully he can stay healthy for a long period of time. Great match. Braun retained, even though Sheamus had him beat with a 3 count, but, Kaiser pulled the ref out. Loved it. Thought it was great. I'm like, this is solid. This is a great way to make all 3 guys. Ironically, you have 2 people who've never been IC champ. One being John Cena, the other being Sheamus. I actually wouldn't mind Braun losing either one of those 2. Just to keep that going. Thought it was great. Solid match. Now for the War Games, I like them both. Women's War Games, I don't know where Rhea Ripley decided to raid like Stephanie Bakir's closet and be like, hi, I want your horns for my helmet, for my mask. And that was her actual mask that she wore until she decided to take it off towards the end to show like war paint. I'm glad that Io Sky knows that to War Games, this is my match. Where's my garbage can? This time you got a rope attached to it, so Jake just set it on top. So we got towards the end, and I'm like, we still have 2 tables and a trash can. And then they started separating the both sides, as Tiffany does a senton off the top of their cage, and Io does the moonsault trash can spot off of their cage. Like the use of handcuffs, nice callback to an older NXT War Games where they tried to handcuff Rhea Ripley, then she handcuffed herself to Shayna Baszler, then she used that to beat Shayna Baszler. Loved seeing Tiffany Stratton pull a briefcase out of the trash can. Thought that was really smart, really great. Showed there was harmony in their team. I liked how they went from that to using the fire extinguisher, which then led them to handcuff Raquel. I like how they handcuffed Raquel actually to the rope itself, so she was able to kind of go back and forth and do some moves. Seeing the riptide off of the top rope through the table, beating Liv. Good, cathartic. Thought it was great, and I was like, oh no. So our opening was the women's War Games. I'm like, oh man, will we have both face teams win War Games? And then we get to the men's one. I hope Jacob's okay. He went to do his beast moonsault ever, and he missed. And I was like, that's not good. And he's holding his leg, and I'm like, oh, that's really not good. So I don't know if he just kind of like pulled a muscle or what, because I don't want him to get injured. He's incredible. Even though he does, if he's out for a little bit, comes back at the Rumble, that's awesome too. Bronson Reed going for a tsunami off of the top and then exploding the table with his body. And I was like, you know what? You can be out the rest of the match. You did an insane spot. Just relax. Jimmy doing a splash off of the top of the cage through Jacob onto a table. Looked really painful because when he hit, there was like a stop and then like the table broke. I'm like, oh, it's gotta be even worse when you kind of just collide on top of your brother. And then the table explodes. I'm like, oh, like, it's cool. You can be out for a little bit. Love the disharmony that they did with Roman's team. Roman wanted to come out as the 4th guy, and then Punk then came out as the 4th guy because he wanted to be the 3rd guy, but you put all 3 Usos in there first. Jimmy, Jay, and Sammy. And then when he got out there, and then of course it's the last one. I've never understood this because the match doesn't begin until the 5th guy comes in. So Sola does chain the door shut, and I'm like, but the match doesn't start until the fifth guy gets into the ring. And then, of course, Roman's like, who has the key? We don't have a key. And I'm thinking, I know he's going to climb the cage because that's the more, that's the more heroic looking thing. But I was like, man, just bolt cutters. Bolt cutters, or if he just like tore the door off the hinges. But he said that climbing it for the dive. Thought that was good. Lots of great back and forth. So they did the first reset, and Roman's helping everyone up. He doesn't help. CM Punk up. They do a miscommunication spot where Punk takes a spear when he's got someone for the GTS. And I was like, telling a good story here. And then when they're all in the ring, and they all get to stand up together, and then Paul Heyman comes down, does a little speech, and that's when War Games officially begins. Paul Heyman says, "This is war." Loved the back and forth. I'm like, this was really good. It's really well thought out, well planned. And then as everyone else gets laid out and it's just Solo by himself, Solo was Solo. He then took everyone's finisher. I like the GTS stagger around into the spear, 1, 2, 3, and they did a really long sequence of them leaving. All the Usos doing this, and CM Punk doing the go to sleep, and then I didn't see the little thing in the corner, and I was like, when's that little icon going to come in the corner? Who else is doing some sort of weird, like random, callback all of a sudden? Is The Rock coming down to do something? Are we going to see Lesnar come down? What is the? And they just kept on slowly walking. I was like, where's the thing in the corner? And then the feed just stopped after they did another callback at the entrance ramp, and I was like, okay. So no random post-match shenanigans stuff unless it just is going to be shown after they do the press conference, which has all the winners in it. So for this being the last premium live event, because the next one, of course, is Saturday Night's main event in a couple of weeks. Really, really well done. I like how they're able to do 2 functionally hour-long matches that have some plunder to them, make it feel just different enough, even though both had top of the cage dives. But very well done.